Ever wondered which aircraft terrifies enemies while saving countless soldiers on the ground? The A-10 Warthog is the toughest, ugliest, and most beloved warplane in American military history. Today, we're revealing 15 incredible facts about this tank-killing beast that was built around a massive cannon and refuses to die. And number 1 will show you why ground troops call it their guardian angel. Hit that like button, subscribe for more military aviation content, and let's discover the flying tank that the Air Force keeps trying to retire, but soldiers won't let go. 15. Built around a gun. The A-10 Warthog exists because engineers wanted to mount the biggest cannon ever installed on an aircraft. The GAU-8 Avenger rotary cannon was selected first. Then designers created an airplane capable of carrying it safely. This massive 30mm weapon weighs over 4,000 pounds, fully loaded with ammunition. The gun stretches nearly the entire length of the fuselage, making the aircraft look unbalanced and strange. Engineers had to position the cannon slightly off-center because otherwise the barrel would block the landing gear. No other warplane was designed this way, with everything else being secondary to one enormous weapon system. This backwards approach created aviation's ultimate tank destroyer. 14. Titanium bathtub protection pilots sit inside a titanium armored shell nicknamed the bathtub that weighs 1,200 pounds by itself. This protective cocoon can withstand direct hits from 23mm anti-aircraft cannon shells fired from below. The armor wraps around the cockpit completely, shielding pilots from ground fire during low-altitude attack runs. Bulletproof glass protects the canopy from small arms fire and shrapnel fragments. Critical flight systems feature redundant backups spread throughout the airframe, so damage cannot disable everything simultaneously. The aircraft can lose one engine, half a wing, or the entire tail section and still fly home successfully. Pilot survival was the top priority during design, making the Warthog incredibly tough to kill in combat. 13. Slow and ugly on purpose. The A-10 reaches maximum speeds around 420 miles per hour, making it the slowest jet currently serving in America's Air Force. This deliberate lack of speed allows pilots to identify targets visually and distinguish friendly forces from enemies accurately. The aircraft can circle battlefields for hours without racing past too quickly to see ground details clearly. Its straight wings and bulky fuselage earned the unflattering Warthog nickname from pilots who appreciated function over beautiful appearance. High-mounted engines sit above the fuselage, protecting them from ground fire and debris kicked up during operations. Slow speed provides maneuverability advantages that fast jets cannot match when supporting troops in close combat situations. 12. Gulf War legend. Born. The A-10 became legendary during Desert Storm in 1991 by destroying thousands of Iraqi tanks, vehicles, and artillery pieces. Pilots flew tank-plinking missions, methodically eliminating Iraqi armor columns fleeing Kuwait across open desert terrain. Iraqi soldiers began surrendering specifically to A-10s after witnessing the aircraft's devastating firepower against their formations. The combination of Maverick missiles and cannon fire proved absolutely deadly against Republican Guard divisions. Media coverage showed smoking Iraqi tank columns, stretching for miles after Warthog attacks. Public fascination with the ugly aircraft saved it from planned retirement after the Cold War ended. Combat success in Iraq validated every design decision and silenced critics who questioned its usefulness in modern warfare. 11. Indestructible reputation. Multiple A-10s have returned to base with damage that would have destroyed any other aircraft completely. One famous example flew home despite losing an entire engine, part of the tail, and significant wing sections to enemy fire. Another survived a direct surface-to-air missile hit that blew massive holes through the fuselage and flight surfaces. The manual reversion flight control system allows pilots to fly using cables and pulleys when hydraulics fail catastrophically. Redundant systems mean no single point of failure can bring down the aircraft during missions. Ground crews have photographed returned Warthogs with damage so extensive it seemed impossible they could still fly. This legendary toughness creates absolute confidence among pilots who know their aircraft will bring them home alive. 10. Danger Close Master. The A-10 operates closer to friendly troops than any other jet aircraft, routinely conducting danger close strikes within hundreds of feet. Pilots fly low and slow enough to visually identify targets using their own eyes rather than relying solely on sensors. Ground commanders call for Warthog support when enemies are so close that faster jets cannot safely engage without hitting friendlies. The aircraft's precision allows striking enemy positions just meters from American soldiers pinned down in desperate firefights. Forward air controllers trust A-10 pilots to make life-or-death targeting decisions that other aircraft cannot handle safely. Low altitude and slow speed provide situational awareness, impossible for jets screaming past at 500 miles per hour. This unique capability makes the Warthog irreplaceable for supporting infantry in close combat. 9. Afghanistan workhorse. Ground commanders in Afghanistan requested A-10 support more than any other aircraft throughout 2 decades of mountain warfare. The Warthog could loiter over remote valleys for hours, providing constant air cover for patrols operating far from bases. Taliban fighters learned to fear the distinctive twin-engine sound that announced a Warthog's arrival overhead. The aircraft operated from primitive airfields with minimal support facilities, unlike sophisticated jets requiring extensive infrastructure. Long endurance allowed responding quickly when troops encountered ambushes in areas where reinforcements couldn't arrive for hours. Precision weapons and cannon fire both proved essential for mountain combat, where targets hid among rocks and caves. The A-10 saved countless American and Allied lives during counterinsurgency operations across Afghanistan's harsh terrain. 8. Retirement battles continue. The Air Force has attempted retiring the A-10 fleet multiple times since the 1990s, but Congress blocks these efforts repeatedly. Senior officers argue the Warthog would be too vulnerable against modern air defense systems in conflicts with sophisticated enemies. Supporters counter that no other aircraft can provide the same close air support capabilities that ground troops desperately need. The F-35 was supposed to replace the A-10, but performs completely different missions and cannot loiter like the Warthog. Politicians receive letters from soldiers begging them to save the aircraft that protected them during combat deployments. This political battle continues every budget cycle, with the A-10's fate remaining uncertain despite its proven combat record and popularity among troops. 7. Gun run. Devastating. The GAU-8 Avenger cannon fires 30mm depleted uranium rounds that punch through tank armor like paper at incredible rates. When pilots trigger the weapon, it unleashes 3,900 rounds per minute in bursts that sound like a dragon's roar from the ground. Each round is the size of a milk bottle, and direct hits from even short bursts obliterate armored vehicles completely. The gun's recoil produces thrust equal to one of the aircraft's engines, actually slowing the Warthog noticeably during firing. Ammunition drums inside the fuselage hold 1,174 rounds, giving pilots enough firepower for multiple devastating attack runs. The distinctive brrrr sound became the Warthog's calling card, bringing relief to friendly forces and terror to enemies. 6. Maverick missile platform. The A-10 carries up to 16,000 pounds of weapons on 11 hardpoints spread across its wings and fuselage. A GM-65 Maverick missiles became the aircraft's primary standoff weapon, allowing pilots to destroy tanks from several miles away safely. TV-guided Mavericks let pilots lock onto targets visually before launching, ensuring precision strikes against specific vehicles or structures. During Desert Storm, Warthogs armed with Mavericks destroyed more Iraqi tanks than any other aircraft in the coalition. The flexible weapon loadout accommodates rockets, laser-guided bombs, cluster munitions, and standard bombs for different mission requirements. This versatility makes the A-10 effective against everything from individual fighting positions to armored columns and fortified bunkers. 5. Pilots love flying. A-10 pilots form one of the most tight-knit communities in the Air Force, proudly calling themselves hog drivers with fierce loyalty. The cockpit provides better visibility than any fighter jet, with large canopy glass and high seating position for observing ground targets. Responsive controls at low speeds make the aircraft satisfying to fly during combat maneuvers that would be impossible in faster jets. Many pilots refuse assignments to other aircraft, preferring to leave the service rather than abandon their beloved Warthog. The close air support mission creates strong bonds between pilots and the ground troops they protect during desperate situations. Flying an A-10 is considered a special calling, rather than just another assignment within the Air Force's fighter community. 4. Long loiter time. The A-10 can remain over battlefields for extended periods, providing persistent air cover that fast jets simply cannot match. Fuel-efficient turbofan engines consume less fuel at the Warthog's typical low speeds and altitudes compared to afterburning fighter jets. Ground troops appreciate having an aircraft constantly overhead, rather than jets that flash past for seconds, then disappear for refueling. Aerial refueling extends missions indefinitely, allowing single aircraft to provide coverage throughout entire days if necessary. The psychological comfort of hearing Warthog engines overhead gives soldiers confidence knowing help is immediately available when needed. Quick response times mean pilots can engage threats within seconds, rather than waiting for distant aircraft to arrive from bases. This persistent presence changes battlefield dynamics completely, deterring enemy actions just through constant overhead observation. 3. Syria and Iraq ISIS operations. The A-10 flew extensive combat missions against ISIS targets throughout Syria and Iraq during years of urban warfare. Precision strikes in populated areas required accuracy that the Warthog's slow speed and visual targeting provided perfectly. Pilots destroyed ISIS fighting positions, vehicle bombs, and command centers while minimizing civilian casualties in crowded cities. The aircraft supported Iraqi security forces and Kurdish fighters during desperate battles for Mosul, Ramadi, and other contested cities. Operating in airspace contested by Russian and Syrian air defenses demonstrated the Warthog's continued relevance despite critics' claims. Low-altitude capabilities allowed striking targets that high-flying aircraft couldn't identify among dense urban buildings. These operations proved the A-10 remains effective in modern conflicts, not just Cold War scenarios its critics assume. 2. Proposed replacement failures. Multiple programs attempted replacing the A-10 over 3 decades, but every alternative failed to match its unique capabilities. The F-35 Lightning II was designated as the official replacement, yet performs completely different missions and cannot loiter over battlefields. Speed and stealth matter little for close air support where slow flight and persistence save lives most effectively. Building a new aircraft specifically for ground attack would cost hundreds of billions of dollars while providing minimal improvements over existing Warthogs. The A-10's combination of toughness, firepower, loiter time, and precision remains impossible to duplicate in any other airframe. Current plans extend the fleet's service life possibly until the 2040s because no viable replacement exists. Some capabilities prove irreplaceable regardless of technology advances or budget pressures. 1. Ground Troops Guardian Angel. Here's the ultimate truth. Soldiers trust the A-10 Warthog above every other aircraft because it has saved thousands of American lives. The distinctive twin-engine sound brings instant relief to troops pinned down by enemy fire in desperate situations. Pilots risk their own lives flying low through ground fire to protect soldiers they can see fighting below them. The special bond between infantry and Warthog pilots represents the Air Force's commitment to supporting ground forces no matter the cost. Troops write letters to Congress begging them to keep the A-10 flying because they know it will come when needed most. The aircraft symbolizes everything close air support should be: tough, reliable, deadly, and absolutely dedicated to bringing soldiers home alive. And there you have it. 15 facts proving the A-10 Warthog is the toughest and most beloved ground attack aircraft ever created. Which fact amazed you most? The titanium bathtub armor or the gun that slows the entire plane? Maybe the Gulf War tank kills or the impossible battle damage survivors? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us if you think the Air Force should keep flying Warthogs or finally retire them. Hit that like button, subscribe for more military aviation deep dives, and we'll see you in the skies. Until next time, Bert.